Okay, so for everyone who's tuning in, this is the TimeWatch playtest. It's Hannibal crossing the Alps with triceratops, and we have with us today Scott and Eric and sorry, Eric hasn't joined us yet. Sean and is it Shugo?
Shugo, yeah.
Shugo, okay. Who will be joining us as a Victorian-era big game hunter, a intelligent dinosaur, a starship pilot, and a caveman. So there you go. And this is a playtest of a game system that has not been released yet. TimeWatch is a gumshoe-based game, so it's investigative in nature, and TimeWatch itself, this particular setting, uses time travel. So we are basically going to be time cops traveling through time and space to solve a mystery. So anything from about 33,000 BC to 43,000 Common Era is fair game for this adventure. After 43,000 Common Era CE, time seems to do something strange in the Time Watch setting, and things don't really go past there. So there you go. Before we get started, I did go over everyone's character sheet, and I presented those to you guys for your PDFs. I did a quick check over, and I made sure that all of our investigative skills have been covered. So I think. So we should be okay. I think forgery might be not covered, actually, now that I look at it.
Technicalities.
And medical expertise, because I didn't really look at those very carefully. Okay, so forgery and medical expertise have not been covered on our character sheets, and they might be ones to pick up. It's kind of up to you guys. But here's the best part. Since we only have 4 players, or we will only have 4 players, you guys have 2 extra investigative points to spend, which you can spend on any investigative ability that you want to spend them on. So go ahead and take a look at your character sheet. If there's something that you really wanted to be able to do or have, put a point in it. Just so you understand, for investigative abilities, if you have a point in it, then you, A, are an expert at it, B, always get a clue related to it if the clue is there to be had. So, for example, if we are in ancient history times and we're trying to find out something, then both Skag and Urk can, and Mace Hunter, you guys are all ancient history buffs, aren't you? Any one of those 3 can say, hey, what do I know about the Jurassic period? And if there's a clue to be had, yeah, right, exactly. If there's a clue to be had, then you get it. The excitement of the game is not, do I find the clue? The excitement of the game is, how do I find the clue? What do I do with it then? So that's where the conflict and the tension of the game occurs. So with that in mind, go ahead and take a look at your character sheets. You can also talk, metagame a little bit to decide if you if you want to cover forgery and medical expertise or not. If not, that's fine too. And I'll be a little quiet for a minute.
Okay, you said 2 points?
2 points each.
Yeah, okay.
I think I'm going to put one in falsehood detection. Wait, no, this character is naive. That wouldn't really be appropriate, I don't think.
I've got falsehood detection.
What's the benefit, or is there any benefit to raising this value to 2? Because I see outdoor survival, I have it at 2.
So, as you might be familiar with other game systems, there's something like a critical success. And that would be in a D20 system like D&D. If you rolled an actual 20, you would be like, oh, that's awesome, I do something really, really cool, I do extra damage, or whatever it is, right? So with your investigative abilities, you don't roll, right? Well, if you have 2 points in one ability, and you say, I want to spend a point, then not only do you get the clue, but you do it in a way that is super freaking amazing, and you get to narrate how that happens. If you spend all of your points, like you have 1 point in History Ancient, and you say, I don't just want to know what this time period is about or what happened here. I was there originally the first time around, right? Like, you want to say that? Okay, cool.
We might be discussing what happened to your neighbors.
Right, exactly. In that case, that would be a point spend to be able to do that. If you have spent all of your points in your investigative ability, but you have a score of 0, you are still an expert at it. You still get the clue automatically. It's just you can no longer critical success at it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool.
I think I'm going to bump up Ancient History and Notice, because I don't really see him having any of these other stuff. As much as I'd like to be a medical expert, I don't see the caveman. I don't think anybody wants to be on my table, you know what I mean?
Keep in mind.
Open now.
Keep in mind. The TimeWatch agency did train everyone rather extensively, but certainly I can understand the reluctance.
Well, I'll put a point in medical expertise, just so that we have at least one person that's able to heal people up.
I can't imagine that being helpful.
Probably a good one for the thoughtful planner. is metagaming with thoughtful planning now. I like it. Yes. Let's see here. Gosh, I'm trying to see if there's anything. Yeah, neither of those. Yeah, I don't see Mace as much of a forger. I see. Yeah, I think we're going to just not have to forge anything.
Well, forgery can also include detecting a forgery.
Oh, so maybe putting a little Indiana Jones in there might not be a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Then I'm going to put a point in forgery then. If I can find it. I should be wearing my reading glasses. You didn't hear that.
I think I'll also put a point in Streetwise, because I see my character as being the guy who talks to locals.
I like that.
Cool.
I like that. Yeah. Let's see here. I can see bumping up notice if I'm ambushing prey on the in the African jungles. It might come in handy.
Yeah, I kind of had the same perspective since I'm a hunter. You know, it seems like something that would be really good at.
But then again, I don't recall anybody else directly being referred to as charming. So maybe I should bump up my charm just a tad.
Yes, actually, Mace and Kelfala are the two charming members of the party.
Okay.
I wanted to do charm so badly. But,
you could be like you could be the cuddly caveman.
Yeah.
Urk think pretty necklace. Urk like eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that.
I would probably have to question anyone swayed by caveman charm.
Caveman lawyer charm.
Indeed.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, actually, I am just going to bump my charm up another one. So I'll have 2 charm, and then a point in forgery as well. Because if he gets drunk, he's going to need a lot of charm. And he will be drunk.
I was going to say, this is probably not his first rodeo from the sounds of the character bio.
So, Sean, what did you do with Urk's 2 points?
History, Ancient, and Notice. Bumped those both up.
Bump those both up? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. All right, so the skills, I'm just going to quickly check, since Eric hasn't hopped on yet and I haven't heard back from him yet, which could just be a matter of time. I'm going to take a look at his character sheet really quick. Does anyone... Okay, so Urk has anthropology. We have ancient history covered. Do we have military tactics? Yes. Research, timecraft, trivia. Excellent. Okay. Authority?
Covered.
Okay. Covered. Falsehood detection. High society is not covered.
That's because Skeg has it.
Yeah, I know. That's why
Yeah.
I'm covering since he hasn't joined us yet. Intimidation is covered. Notice is covered. Outdoor survival is covered. Paradox prevention. Science is covered, and spying is covered. Okay, so the only one that isn't covered at this point is high society. I'm comfortable with you guys not taking that if you choose. I'm okay with that.
From all of the brief description of Mace, I just can't see. He keeps getting kicked out of high society, it seems. I just don't. Yeah, I don't see that happening for him.
I could see Kafala having it. I really could.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of my character more as a I wouldn't say lower class, but more mingling with the at the local bars where you
Right.
wouldn't find. But
Oh,
but I mean if it's I don't know, I'm open to.
Okay. Oh wait, you have it. No, you have it. You have it too.
Do I?
Yeah, you do. Uh,
Oh, sorry.
okay. No, it's great. It's great because that means we're all covered.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I have it.
Obviously, you're a little bit of a chameleon when it comes to social encounters, right?
Yeah.
You mingle with the street. You mingle with the high society. You know, there's. So great. Okay, cool. All right. So for our opening scene, I just want you guys to know we're gonna run this scene. It's going to be a series of challenges and conflicts and everything, and part of it is to get us comfortable with the mechanics of a challenge and a confrontation. So any points that you spend during this scene will be refreshed before the main story arc. Okay? So I'm letting you guys know that now, so you don't hoard your things thinking, "Oh my God, I've got the rest of the adventure," you know. So to give you an overview of how general abilities work, those are the ones over to the right-hand side of your character sheet. You have a lot more points in those as a general rule, and that's because those are not automatic successes. If you don't have something, you can't use that skill. You just can't even make a contest. So if you have a 0 in if you have a 0 in preparedness, you just never have a kit with you. It's, like you have your basic equipment and that's it. If you have a high preparedness, or for example, Kafala has 8 points in preparedness, you always have a little extra stuff with you that you needed. And if you want to say, can I say that I brought that with me? Then you're going to roll a preparedness roll, and we're going to see that you had it. Kafala, because Kafala has an 8, that's a boost, so you can do things like, yeah, I didn't just prepare something. Actually, I'm going to walk through that door, and future me has come back, dropped off a package, and left before I walk through that door. Okay, it's gonna be like, it'll be like, oh yeah, future me went back in time, taped something underneath my chair, and I'm gonna reach under right now and I'm gonna get it because I need it now. So so there will be moments like you can just like abuse that to say no, I already had that. Yeah. So to spend your points in your general abilities, you spend them for a +1 to your die roll, and you always roll a d6 for a contest, and you can spend however many points as you have left. So if you have an 8 in athletics, that means that you have you basically can add a +1 or +2 or +3. You can add up to 8 +8, and obviously you don't do that on one die roll because a +3 is an auto success because, generally speaking, your target number is 4. Okay, just keep that in mind. You're rolling a d6, and you usually want to roll a 4. All right, and so like if you had your athletics and you're like, it's really important to me that I jump over this pool of lava. I really don't want to fall in. And I'm pretty good at athletics, so I'm gonna roll, and I'm just gonna add 3 to my roll, and say you're Urk and you have 10 in athletics, so you would take that 10, you would mark a little -3 next to it, because at that point you have just used 3 of your points. And then when we refresh that pool at the end of this scene, and generally speaking at the end of the adventure, you would refresh it back to 10. Your health does not refresh that way, and your chronal stability does not refresh the same way. So those you have to use medic and reality anchor to kind of heal that kind of damage. Okay, health damage is obviously like your hit points. Chronal stability is how much of you is still left in the timeline. So that's, that scene in Back to the Future where Michael J. Fox starts disappearing. That's his chronal stability.
So avoid that, right?
Yeah, that's his chronal stability dropping further and further. And when your chronal stability reaches -5, I think it is, you are no longer you, and you have just slipped into whatever time period you are in, and you think and act like someone who's from that time and place. If it drops below -11, you're erased. Not only are you erased from now, you are erased from all time. And the problem with that, of course, is any missions that you went on before have to be redone. So this game, you could just keep playing the same missions over and over again. Damn it, we lost another one. So okay, so that's
maybe we're the anomalies,
right? So that's the basic beginnings, and go ahead, and I think you guys have kind of touched base on who you are, but if you wanna like do your formal introductions, that's cool with me.
No, we're all going to look nervously at the cameras.
Okay, Scott, that means you just volunteered. Go ahead and introduce Mace Hunter for
me. I'm Scott, and I play Mace Hunter, who's a very important, shall we say, dabbler in things in the 17th century. I like to hunt the animals, and pretty much hunt the animals and find the other animals, ladies. And we're just going to stop there before I really get embarrassed. So. I do have an actual question, though. As you describe us as rookies in the introduction, have we met each other yet?
Yeah, you have. You're actually working on a case when we start.
Okay, all right.
Cool, I'll briefly go next. So I'm playing Urk, the powerful, highly curious, naive caveman. Yes, from 33,000 BC. Good stuff.
I'll go next then. I'm Hugo, and I'll be playing Kelfala, the starship pilot. Was a starship pilot and possibly the pilot of the ship we're on. Are we in space? Or?
We use like a handheld
right,
device.
Okay.
An autochron?
An autochron.
well, I guess really likes vehicles and starships and anything that you can drive. So I'll probably be the first person to rush to a vehicle. Or...
Chariot, elephant.
Your shiny metal birds confuse me.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't think Mace is going to be doing a great deal of that either.
So we start in. You are in a marketplace in Rio. It is Carnival. This is maybe the 1980s, so it's loud, it's gaudy, it's Carnival in the 80s for crying out loud. Everybody's got big hair, and Hannah Red, an interchronal antiquities thief, has just stolen a priceless manuscript, and you are in mid-chase. In fact, just a second ago, you were in a museum in Venice in the 23rd century. So you are mid-chase. She has just jumped through time to the Carnival in Rio, and you basically your two distances away from her. So it's essentially, if she gets away, that means that she's gone two further distances away from you, and you can't catch up. And the way that this kind of works is if you envision that the two of you are traveling. Oh, sorry, I'm going to move this a little forward. If you're traveling, like, this is how close you are, and you need to close in, right? And every time we make a challenge, either you'll stay the same, you'll get a little closer, or you'll get a little further, and then we'll time jump somewhere else because she's jumping through a time, using her autochron, and you guys are close enough that your autochrons can key into hers and follow her. Does that make sense?
If she gets farther away, then we won't be able to follow her.
Exactly. If she gets farther away,
okay.
If she gets basically, if the distance was, I think it's called long distance or something like that, then she will succeed. She'll get away.
I suppose it's common then for thieves and questionable types to have autocrons as well in the scope of the game.
She actually is a interchronal antiquities thief. So she's a time traveling thief. So she specifically has studied time travel. She has points in timecraft and chronal stability so that she can make these jumps without completely dissipating. Yes, okay. Yes. There are certainly a certain number of elements that have decided that time travel is an opportunity.
Well, it certainly is.
Yes.
In a way, we made the same decision.
Yes, just in a different direction. So, you guys are chasing her through Carnival, and it's crowded, it's noisy, and she is trying to be unobtrusive and kind of slip into the crowd to get away from you. So, what are you guys going to do?
Well, let's see. We got two skilled hunters here, don't we?
Oh, yes, you do.
I think that would be the standard operating procedure. So if we're in a large crowd like this, would it be maybe a notice or something like that to try to pick them out of the crowd?
It's actually unobtrusive because basically the same skill that is used to hide is used to spot someone who's hiding. Notice is used a lot more for example, I'm going to pick up on this trail. I'm going to pick up on that clue. Which is why they're investigative rather than general abilities.
Cool. So I guess I will spend a point.
Okay.
And roll a d6.
All right. So hold on before you roll. Okay. All right. Scott, are you going to also try to do this?
Yes, I was definitely going to have to. I was going to ask if we actually had sight of her already, but apparently not. So yes, as I will also spend a. Yes, I will spend a point and roll a d6.
Okay. And Kalfala, are you also going to?
Yes,
try
I
to
think
deal?
so.
All right. So, and how many are you going to spend?
I'll spend 2.
2 points. Okay. So, Kalfala, you're going to roll with a +2, and this is going to drop your unobtrusiveness down to 1 point. Mace, you're going to spend, you said 1 point?
Yes, 1 point.
So that'll give you a +1 on your d6, and it'll drop you down to, I guess, 7 points. And Urk, you're going to spend 1 point, and that'll drop you down to 2 points. And it'll give you a +1 on your die roll. Everyone got that?
Yes.
Okay. So, and Hannah Red, this is actually kind of an opposed thing. Hannah Red is also spending to get away. So, so go ahead and everyone can roll their die.
Oh, yes.
Nice. Okay. All right. So, let me get back to the chase scene. Chases. Advanced chase rules. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I was supposed to designate a lead. Sorry about that. Okay.
Hey, Stephanie, I'm getting a little bit of an echo on your end.
I'm hearing that too. Can everyone mute for a second? We'll do a quick test, a quick audio test. All right, so I'm talking and I can't hear the echo. All right, Scott, why don't you unmute and talk for a second?
Okay, I'm talking.
Okay,
I don't hear the echo, but I didn't to begin with.
I don't hear the echo either, so go ahead and mute again. Sean, you want to unmute?
I am currently on mute. Don't hear an echo.
And I don't hear the echo either. All right, Shugo, unmute.
Okay, I talking?
And I don't hear an echo when I talk either. Okay, that's weird.
We have chased it out of the system.
We have chased it out. Okay, everyone can unmute. We'll see if that works.
I'm muted now.
All right. I still hear an echo.
I think it was Scott.
I'm gonna guess it's Scott because he doesn't have headset.
No, I don't have a headset. So what I did was that I turned down my television. Because what the echo is when you had me be the only one speaking, nobody heard the echo. But
right, that's why I tried talking over you. Do you have headphones, like at all?
I do, yes.
That you could plug in to your computer and...
Whether or not they're going to work is going to be an interesting question. I don't really have it set up, but we can see here.
Okay.
Certainly if you'd rather...
See if that works.
Okie dokie.
Didn't want to derail things, but it makes it easier to understand.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That also gave me a chance to take a look at our rules here. All right. Okay, so
okay, is that can anybody hear me or?
I can hear you. You sound terrific. And
okay,
I don't hear an echo.
Yeah, because I'm no echo.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well,
because I think it's still coming from my. I still think it's still taking
Okay.
it from my camera and not from my headphones. So hold on, let me see.
well, the real question is the audio coming through your headphones? The audio out? Yeah,
No.
I can still hear the echo.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Good old technology.
Oh yes, good old technology. But I don't think it's going to. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it's choosing the other one over the headphones.
Maybe check on the Hangout settings, or is it?
That's a good point. Hangout. Scott, if you go to the middle of your Hangouts window where the video is, there's a little pop-up that has a gear icon for settings,
Yes, indeed.
and usually that's where you select where the audio comes from. Did you find it?
I think I found it.
Oh, yes, you did.
That's because I am awesome. Yes.
Hoorah!
Scott has succeeded at like 9 new technical things today. That's awesome.
Well, I'm not the dumbest guy on the planet. I just don't really do this stuff.
Okay, so so what happened in our chase sequence is that you, Mace, and Urk, and next time we jump, it'll be a little different because I just reread the rules and it's not really an opposed roll. There's supposed to be one lead on the chase. So, but you guys easily are catching up to Hannah Red. You have spotted her in the crowd, and you're kind of chasing after her. And just as she dashes by the float celebrating pineapples, she activates her Autochron and leaps through time to a new space. You guys follow her, I assume, because as
After
one
I
does.
steal the nearest beverage.
Sure. Yeah. It's
It is Carnival after all.
Yeah.
Drink, yes, please.
Right.
Carry on.
So you come dashing and through the time space thing, and everyone needs to roll a chronal stability. It's just a basic time travel check. You can. I should have mentioned. Everyone starts out with 1 stitch. You can spend it for any of these chronal stability checks to not have to make the check. Chronal stability is essentially it's your how stable are you in time and space. So, yeah. If you want to spend points on it, you can. If you just want to roll it and see if you get 4 or better, that's fine too. If you fail,
So
it
does she
costs
leave
you
like
2
some
points.
some sort of signature that we're able to
Oh yeah,
follow, or
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you're definitely. It's just every time you make a time chase, every time you make a time jump, you have to make a stability check.
Cool.
Yes, and you said there was supposed to be a leader of some variety?
That'll be once you get to the other side of time.
Okay.
So everybody's going to make
the
this
side
check.
of time. Okay. All right.
This seems a little bit more important, so I'm going to spend 2.
Oh, wait.
Yes. See, yeah, I'm
Just
going
so
to.
you know, failure costs you 2, so you may not want to spend 2 on something that is a die roll, and if you fail at it, it'll just cost you 2. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Touche. Oh yeah, it's like health. Cool. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna fail on that. So it's cool.
So it still costs you 2.
Yeah. I'm totally going to be Mace Hunter and just trust that I know that exactly running in there is going to be the right thing to do, and just roll without a modification at all. And wow, that sounds right. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna
Apropos.
spend a 1.
You're gonna spend them.
A point, yeah.
Okay.
Seeing everyone's luck. And I just make it.
Okay. Well, what did you roll? A 1?
I rolled a 3.
You rolled a 3. You did just barely make it. Okay. So Shugo, you're the only one who makes it through without damage. Even Hannah Red takes damage as she jumps to the portal because she didn't make it either. All right. So, and you guys are.
So the important thing, did my drink make it?
Yeah, of course, it's in my hand. But you're now running down a dock, and Hannah Red has leapt onto a jet ski and is rapidly fleeing the scene. Fortunately, there's 3 more jet skis right there.
What are these strange metal horses?
Who would like to be lead on this particular part of the chase?
Yes,
Not me.
Actually, I'm going to just Kelfala, if you're behind me, like just try and grab you by the shirt collar and point to the jet skis and keep running. What everybody else wants to do is up to them. But I know a pilot.
I think they're nominating you for the lead. What do you think?
Yeah. I was just gonna say, the moment I see the jet skis, my eyes widen and I run ahead.
All right, so you're going to be lead on this. So go ahead and roll your vehicle and let me know. Well, first decide how many points you're going to spend on that.
Well, I think I won't spend any points because I've got an 8 in.
Well,
people.
remember the 8 is your pool, so you would spend from that pool to add to your roll. Yeah, so
I can spend as many as I want.
Yes, you could spend up to 8. I wouldn't spend more than 3.
Right, and this pool that is not refreshed each turn, like it refreshes.
It will refresh at the end of the scene. Normally, this would refresh at the end of the session, but this is our opening sequence, and I want us to be able to feel free to spend our points to try this out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I shall spend 2 points then.
Okay, so you're going to have a +2, and Hannah Red is also spending some points on her die roll, so go ahead and roll. Oh, whoops, that was not correct.
Clear. Right?
Yeah, clear it, and I need to clear mine because I did that wrong.
Roll.
There we go.
Okay.
All right, so you got a 5, I got a 4. So we both succeeded, but you are definitely closing in. In fact, you are almost at point blank when and you're like leaping off of the jet ski to get to her when she activates her autochron and leaps out of there. She's almost in your grasp when you guys tumble into a corridor of a crowded space station, and she leaps up and starts running again. What do you guys do? You almost have her.
Do we have to do the chronal stability, or did we basically?
Oh yeah,
rehearse?
yeah, you do, and I have to as well. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes. Okay. So yeah. Feeling a little stressed this time, I'm going to actually spend a point of chronal stability there.
Okay.
Because, yeah, I did not fare well the last time. So.
Here's the wishing I had.
Even Mace learns. So, there we go. And yeah, definitely.
You totally didn't need it, but
that time.
that's
okay. Sounds just about right, though,
Yep.
doesn't it?
And the rest of you
so
guys
that
roll?
gets... Yeah.
Yeah,
So that gets the
took another
chronal
2
stability
off.
out of the way.
Okay, and Shugo?
Yeah, I wasn't spending any, so I just rolled.
Oh, and you got a 4, so you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so then you guys are chasing her down. She actually took some damage, some chrono damage herself. She may not be able to keep this up for much longer. But man, that whatever it is she stole, it's actually in a satchel. Must be really important to her. So what are you guys gonna do? How are you gonna chase her down? How are you gonna catch her?
You said it was the crowded corridor in a space station.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Yes. Well, actually, I'm going to remind you that I have authority.
Oh.
And I'm just going to shout right into the crowd. I do believe she has my wallet.
Okay, well, I'll tell you. Normally that's an investigative ability, but I have no problem with you using it in this one. Anybody?
Well, I'm trying to, yeah, okay, we're squeezing the rules there. You're right.
I don't care.
Okay.
I'm good to go with it. Do you want to? Normally, I'd have you roll on this, and this is a very interesting part of the playtest. Do you want to spend that point? Because remember, this is going to refresh anyway. Do you want to spend that point to just automatically succeed with a crit?
I will automatically succeed with a crit.
Okay.
Yes.
So you spend your authority. You go ahead, say it.
Okay.
Be bold.
I do believe she has my wallet.
Oh! Stop her! And the crowd half the crowd sort of presses back to the sides. That's your typical bystander who doesn't get involved. But it's a space station. There's actually a fairly significant military presence, and they close ranks on her, and she's stopped by a fairly firm, but not brutal military force, and she turns around, hands up, and she says, "Not again." She hands over the satchel, and just as you guys take the satchel from her, Mace, you're, I assume, taking the satchel since you're being all authority and stuff.
I'm going to play the role to the hilt. Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely mine.
Yeah. You feel something shift slightly, and as you open it up, you take out the item that she stole, which was Boccaccio's Decameron, the original manuscript. She had stolen it from a museum in Venice, and you guys were tracking her down. The original manuscript, to your recollection, wasn't written in Chinese. But this one is.
Okay.
And she kind of looks over at it. Ah! Damn it! That's not what I took. I mean, allegedly took. And you guys take her into custody and return to TimeWatch with this artifact of altered time. Okay, so we're going to close the scene. You guys can refresh. You're a strange time wizard caveman.
I'm looking past that.
You guys can refresh your points, your pools, and I'm going to introduce something known as stitches. These are stitches in time. Everyone starts play with one stitch in time. Ding. Normally you would represent them with like stones or poker chips or whatever, but since we're playing online, I'm going to kind of keep track, and you guys can, holler out when you want to use them. A stitch in time is used to heal chronal stability. In this particular case, because that was our opening sequence, I'm kind of good with hand waving chronal stability loss. But basically, you can use them. Sorry, not to heal, but to prevent chronal ability loss, or stability loss. So what you would do before you roll is you could say, "I'm going to spend a stitch, and I don't even have to roll." Like that. So, but they're useful for other things when you want to kind of press time a little bit and make things work a little more smoothly. So everyone has one to start out. Feel free to nominate each other for them when you do something cool or have a really great idea. So just letting you know. Okay. So you have the original manuscript of the Decameron written in the original Chinese, and you turn this artifact back into TimeWatch, where your superiors explain that no, that's not how it happened the first time. Boccaccio is Italian. This should be written in Italian. Do you remember Italian? Yeah. So there seems to be a little bit of paradox going on as this time ripple has affected things, and you're told that probably the best way to find out what's going on is to go back to Boccaccio's time and find out.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So, shall we go back to Boccacio's time then?
But of course.
Excellent. You're all given inoculations against the Black Plague because, or Black Death, because Boccaccio was writing in 1351, which is 3 years after the plague ravaged Europe. And in fact, the opening sequence of the Decameron is the description of the plague ravaging Florence. So this is a dark, grim time to walk into. Just so you know. But fortunately,
It reminds me of home.
yes. Fortunately, you guys are coming in from TimeWatch, and a quick shot in the arm, and you're totally immune. So.
This is handy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Convenient.
Yeah, because we hand wave diseases unless it's convenient for plot. All right. So.
For diabolical GM fun.
So you guys arrive in Florence, and it's a scene straight out of the worst medieval Dark Ages nightmare. I mean, right down to the guy with the bell crying, "Bring out your dead."
I'm not dead yet.
Oh, yes, you are.
Technically speaking. And yeah, so what are you guys gonna do? Where are you gonna investigate?
Well, let's see here.
What status was Boccaccio? Was he an unknown artist, or?
Actually, he was writing the Decameron. He wrote at kind of the rising part of his career. He was well known. He was a well known Renaissance writer, and this particular work, if you don't know the Decameron, it's a little bit like the Italian version of Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. So it's a series of short stories that are linked together with a larger frame, and he wrote that in between 1349 and 1351. It's one of his most popular works, and it was certainly one of the kind of highlights of the Italian Renaissance. So, although in this particular case, that would be the Chinese Italian Renaissance. Your universal translators do tell you what language is being spoken around you, and it's not Italian.
Okay.
The plot thickens. It's not just.
So they're actually they're bringing out their dead in another language, in the wrong language.
Yes.
Which I think means that it didn't happen at this point. I think it's just a safe assumption. I mean, they're already speaking Chinese.
Yes,
I think we've arrived a bit late. But yeah, I don't know as a player too much of my Italian history and when they might have crossed paths with the Chinese.
We ask people, we find man.
There you go. So, as a as a hunter of of knowledge in this case, that might be an approach to take.
That's
Start
my
asking
go-to
people.
approach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yes, I'm going to, let's see here. He was fairly well known. He probably wasn't living in the slums. So I'm going to start just heading towards the nice buildings.
Okay.
Maybe actually searching my own character's recollections. I do have a bit of ancient history, which would pretty much, I think, qualify as anything before my time.
There's actually points in time, and ancient history, I'm pretty sure goes up to the Renaissance, and contemporary is through like the 21st century. So yeah, even though it's like contemporary, but I'm a caveman. It's not contemporary to me, but no, it's just broad terms for our time periods.
Yes.
So yeah, you certainly know both ancient and contemporary history, so there's no problem there.
So who?
So from your knowledge, Boccaccio would be living somewhere in the kind of the artisan district of Florence. Florence is kind of a mishmash of wealthy and poor, not nearly as much as Venice, but it's definitely got little areas like, in this area, some of the greatest painters and sculptors are working side by side, and Boccaccio.
Just stay away from the pottery section. Yeah. It's bad business there.
And so you can pretty easily locate where his work. Well, it's not really his workshop, but his studio would be.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, direct approach always works.
Okay.
So as we're moving through the area, I mean, is there any other signs of anything else that's, I mean, the spoken language, obviously, and that I'm assuming we have at least some basic historical knowledge. So are like other elements out of place as well?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
dress,
Well, for one thing, of course, art and you know something about anthropology, so you know about cultural impacts of things. Some of the art has definitely it has a more Eastern influence to it. All of the signs, of course, are written in Chinese. And just as you're walking past, you're in the artisan district heading for Boccaccio's studio. Just as you're walking past a painter's studio, he's got the doors wide open because it's a very nice day, despite the presence of plague in the city, and painters' fumes. As you're just walking by, you kind of peer through the door and you see a painting that could not have been in the Italian Renaissance or even the Chinese Italian Renaissance. You find a painter. He's working on a painting of Hannibal crossing the Alps, but the artwork suggests triceratops in the background of the Carthaginian army.
Ooh.
And you know what that means.
I'm also driven by curiosity. So yeah, I mean, if I'm walking through the streets and see triceratops in any form, I gotta see what's going on.
Okay. So as you guys are walking down the street, Urk just kind of ducks his head into an artist shop and then just sort of turns and walks right in, just without even pausing.
It is considered polite where I come from.
Right. You haven't hauled off and taken his wife yet, so
Yet.
very good guess. So you walk in and
we're wondering where Eric's in. Where'd Eric go?
right.
I
maybe
think
we
we
don't
were
even
probably
notice
walking close enough to. Yeah, I think we were probably walking close enough.
Yeah, it's kind of like you take a few more steps, you turn around. Oh right, yeah, he just like he's just right
We
back
have
there.
those tethers. These.
I guess we're buying art
holographic
today.
PDAs.
Yeah, it's true. You do you are able to communicate with each other sort of sub sonically in a way.
Ooh, a subdermal earbud. That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys, there's a lot of communication, hand waving that we do with technology. So yeah, so you just kind of like, oh, where'd he go? And he's right behind you. But yeah, so you walked into this artist's workshop, and he just kind of as he's working, he says, "Be with you in a minute," and just kind of keeps painting, and he's brushing in the horns, which and they're in the background. There's still elephants, right, in the foreground, but it's kind of just in the background, like some of the Carthaginians are riding triceratops instead of elephants.
You have color wrong.
Kind of turns and looks. Oh, do I? Well, taking some liberties here, but there were never really any samples left, and. Can I help you? Is there something you wish to purchase?
Painting. Explain painting. Oh, no, he wouldn't say that. Drawing.
Drawing. Well, this is the great Carthaginian Hannibal Barca crossing the Alps on his way to conquer Italy.
I do not remember trihorns depicted in that.
Ah, well, it's a funny thing you should mention that. These great beasts that Hannibal brought with him, they were controversial at best, but they were certainly instrumental in turning the tide and allowing him to take all of Sicily and Rome.
Trihorns are stubborn. Urk find that hard to believe.
Well,
actually, I would probably just chime in with my comrades to get them over here, because I'm not exactly what you might call.
I don't know where Kafala is, but I'm just leaning in the doorway, watching the show, with this bemused expression on my face. Probably the wrong drink still in my hand.
Right,
we were at TimeWatch long enough.
You're holding a drink that looks like a plastic pineapple, and it's got an umbrella sticking out of it.
No, we were at TimeWatch long enough to have fixed that. But I'm definitely leaning in the doorway, just watching Urk work.
Okay.
This is
and
not
Kapala,
my
are you also lurking in the doorway there?
Yeah. I'm on the other side.
Okay, the other side of the doorway. Just two guys just leaning in the doorframe.
I can see exactly how this is going. All right.
Hang you out on your social skills on your own there.
That's all right. So, what was the last thing that
you said that they were stubborn, and he said that they were used to conquer Sicily, southern Italy, and all the way to Rome. And even you with your ancient history. Well, actually, your ancient history is really good. No, that's not how it happened. If Hannibal conquered Rome, then what happened to the Roman Empire? Because that was pretty much instrumental to the Romans.
Yeah, it sort of shaped the world as we know it today.
Yes, and how is that Chinese language going there in Florence?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So I think
I'm going
we need
to
to probably take a visit, don't we?
I'm going to step in, actually, if this person's been painting at least the crossing of the Alps, perhaps then has painted other historical images as well, and just kind of glance around at the other paintings
Okay.
and see if there's anything else I can.
Sure. You
find
find you actually most of his painted works are kind of in progress, and they're a little bit more modern. Well, modern for now. But you kind of flip through a sketchbook that's sitting on a desk, almost looks forgotten, and it includes sketches of the fall of Rome, the conquest of Sicily, the battle at Cannae, which is where Hannibal routed the Romans. Mace, you'd bet your next drink on.
I would not do such a thing. No.
Well, this would be a safe bet. Those are rifles. Those are rifles sketched into that drawing. You recognize firearms when you see them.
Oh yes, probably have one stuffed into my poofy pants. But yeah. Okay. All right. Wow. Just everything's all out of whack here. Yeah, I'm just going to wave, because why would anybody need to talk about these things? Just going to wave my friends over, because they're going to do what I say, and my co-workers, and just point at the rifles in that particular sketch there. And,
I'm just going to say, well, we've got to be careful if we're dealing with these people. Because, I'm not sure how far into the future we are with shield technology. Or...
You mean in terms of your ability to not get shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if you get shot, you take health damage, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we definitely need to be careful of running into any of the military presence. So.
Yes, but all I'm doing is acting like I own the place, which seems to be a bit of a thing with Mace. He's not actually doing anything wrong. Just wandering in, looking at the guy's sketchbook.
Yeah, just all of you are fairly good at notice. Yeah, you all easily. When you were outside looking around, you didn't see any presence of firearms outside.
Oh.
Okay, actually, then I'm going to.
I think what I'm going to do is I'll pretend I don't know what they are and show them to the painter and ask them, "Oh, these look interesting. What are these?" And
Oh yes, the fireworks sticks. Fascinating device. Hannibal brought these. Well, okay. Again, controversial. But I like to think that the stories are true. And, the De Medicis, they claim to have one. I can't be certain. But yes, he supposedly brought the fireworks sticks with him.
And the okay, out of character. The fact that he's calling them fireworks sticks, we're not sure if he's actually used them as weapons.
There's too many words. It's simply fire stick.
The painter or Hannibal?
Hannibal. Well, if he had used it to kill people, probably would have called it the death. I don't know, something else maybe.
Possibly.
Sure.
Possibly. Yeah. Or there may be some other cultural influence that informs the painter to believe that these are related to fireworks. Invented by the Chinese in the 5th century?
Mm.
Did you say the Medicis claim to have one from when Hannibal came
Yes.
here?
Yes. If they do, what an artifact. But the Medicis, like they're gonna let someone like me visit them. But if they let you in, you could put in a good word. Just
Well, what is your name?
uh, and Antonio Rabrucci. Pleased to meet you. He holds his hand out to you.
Mm-hmm. Very friendly handshakes all around. At least shake his hand, absolutely. Well, yes. Yeah, I don't think I'm even going to bother asking him where the Medicis live. I think walking outside would indicate that to me.
You already know. This
Yeah.
is Florentine geography is not that complicated, and the de Medicis lived in their palace for like 500 years. So.
And do you happen to have a bottle of wine?
Oh yes, of course. And he pulls out a bottle of Chianti, pours you all glasses, and raises a toast, and toasts the painting, which he's now pretty convinced that you guys are going to come back with the de Medici, Don de Medici to buy his painting or something. I don't know. He's
really optimistic.
We're going to let him. I'm going to let him do that, especially since I'm going to also, once I set my glass down, grab the bottle and toss him a few coins from my pockets for the bottle in question, and say, "To the Medicis."
To the Medicis.
Start walking out the door. Yes.
Yeah. he picks up the coins and is very. Thank you, sir. Grazie. I mean, and then he says it again in Chinese. He's not. Apparently, he's bilingual. He's one of those,
Yes.
not well conquered.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Okay. So
yeah, because I want to see these fireworks sticks firsthand, because that might give me a better indication of, what exactly went wrong and when.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right. So you guys head towards the de Medici estate, I guess you could call it, and you're unobtrusive, but I welcome you to figure out how you're going to get into this particular location.
I'm perfectly willing to stand back a little ways. There's probably there are probably a lot of bystanders actually with a bottle of wine in their hand. I'm perfectly willing to stop at a reasonably I'm not attacking the castle right now distance.
Okay. So you stop just outside the gates, and it's basically a nice little Italian manor house. It has a gate. It's got a guard. It's not like heavily, it's not like a fortress in any way, shape, or form. And you see that the guards are actually about 10 feet back from the gate. Possibly something to do with plague. So.
Okay. Yes.
Well, we could try asking them to let us in. See if that works.
Well, we have a bit of a charmer, don't we?
Not.
Yes, we do.
I mean, I could certainly try, but my techniques are a little rough, as it were.
So,
but
Kelfala, you wanna sweet talk your way in to the high society?
Yeah, sure, I can try.
So, you walk up and start chatting with the guards.
Well, hello there. What's your name?
Mario.
Mario.
Verona, and you?
My name is Kefala, and I like your name. In fact, I like you.
Really? I like Chianti. He says, kind of eyeing Mace's bottle.
So is Mace. But Mace is also definitely not blind on somebody else indicating that they might want to share in the bottle.
You know, a little thirsty
so
there.
after a moment's hesitation, is going to walk up and say, "Who are your friends, Kalfala?" and just pass that bottle like it's the most normal thing in the world.
Right. So the guard takes the bottle and takes a swig and hands it back. Actually, hands it over to Kalfala, not Mace.
Well, I'm also politely going to take a sip and wink in his general direction.
Okay. So what has you out on the street? Plague in town, you know.
Oh yes, we're actually just passing by, and we thought we'd appreciate some of the wonderful art your fine city has to offer, and we'd love to see some more.
Yes, well, you know, it's there's lovely works on the exterior of the manor, of course. He kind of points things out, and you of course know quite a bit about architecture. You can recognize, you know, the friezes and the bas relief, the doors, everything.
Oh, this is all wonderful. I wonder how it looks from the inside, whether it's as beautiful. I'm assuming there's stained glass, and that would certainly look a lot better from the inside.
Yeah. Kind of looks, you know. Between you and me, they're not even home right now. They left because of the damn plague. So yeah, I could give you a little tour. He opens the gate for you.
Have I gotten my bottle of wine back yet?
I don't know. He handed it to Kafala.
I'm just going to reach out for my bottle of wine.
Okay, I shall pass it back. But I'm not sure if we want to continue on the tour or just abandon him.
Well, if anyone
too late.
knows...
Like, Mace is walking in. That's why I wanted the bottle of wine in my hand. Is Mace is just going in. If this guy is like to go on a tour, we're going to go on a tour.
Yeah. I would have walked in as soon as the door was opened, basically, as well.
Yeah. So he kind of flags down another guard and leads you guys in. He's not going to let you unescorted through the De Medici Manor, but he'll kind of give you the tour of the highlights. Which he proceeds to do, and he kind of shows you beautiful works of art. Again.
Irk board.
Lots of things that have been influenced by Eastern culture. You know, there's vases that bear sort of this weird blend of Florentine painting and Chinese symbology and things like that. Although you do notice that Chinese influence does not seem to extend back further than about 200 years in terms of the antiquities he's showing.
Probably let him chatter on and give us a tour for a half an hour tops, or until the bottle's gone, whichever comes first. At which point, Irk would not be the only bored one.
Yeah, he's currently considering making the little man be quiet, a la Fist.
Yes. Mace is going to be a little bit less than subtle, and reach in, and that pistol I mentioned was probably tucked into his poofy pants. It's going to come out, and he'll say, I heard they have another thing similar to this firework.
Oh, well, somewhat. Your replica is quite impressive, though.
Yes, I spent a fortune getting it forged. Back into the pants it goes.
He leads you guys into a kind of a side room where some of the older pieces are, and he takes out this this case. And he says, "Okay, can't touch it though. Okay." So he takes out this case, and it's about 3 feet long, and he sets it on a counter, and he flips open the case, and you see resting right there. It is indeed a rifle. Circa 1900s, American made, Smith and Wesson style. It's over 1,000 years old. There's no way that you could fire this thing.
Yeah, so Urk will probably pick up the fire stick as soon
no,
as
no,
he
no! You
gets a
can't touch it,
chance.
sir.
He can talk. I'm still reaching for it.
Okay, so you're definitely going to be engaging in some physical conflict here with poor Mario.
Look, I'm
He tries to grab it back.
He's been very nice. Actually, in a very friendly gesture, reach like he's my buddy, and I'm going to put my arm around him. Not Urk, but Mario.
Uh-huh.
Like, Mario's my buddy, and just, like, hold him and, yeah, just convince him that we're, yeah.
You're wrestling him.
No, not at all. It's just
Okay.
just reassure him.
Urk.
No, Mario, trust me. We know what we're doing. No one will ever know the difference.
So Urk, you're basically strong-arming the rifle away from Mario, who is going to try to grab it out of your hands.
Sure.
So this is either athletics or scuffling. It's kind of up to you on how forceful you want to be and whether you want this to be something that could possibly hurt him.
I don't necessarily want to hurt him. Just want to try to basically kind of do a snatch it. So maybe athletics would be more appropriate than the scuffling.
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
And I really want to do this, so I'm gonna burn the 3 because.
Okay. Remember, we're not refreshing at the end of this scene.
Oh, I know. It's all good.
Okay.
And probably he's not gonna like the next bit. So I stick the butt up to my mouth, and I start kind of gnawing on it to
Oh God.
test the wood. It's authentic. So I'm imagining he's probably not liking that very much.
Okay. So go ahead and roll, even though you don't actually need to roll in the case of your athletics because you're adding a 3. So yeah, you easily just slide it. It's almost like he didn't actually wasn't really trying or something, and then you start gnawing on it. It's wood. It's hard. It's
a bit minty.
Yeah. It does taste like it's been oiled. Perhaps with some sort of protective coating, which you've now gnawed off.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
So I guess can I determine if this is an authentic weapon then? As far as obviously shouldn't be in this timeline or anything like that, but it looks like a fully functioning weapon.
It's not fully functioning at all.
Well, it would have been, I should say.
Yes, yes. It's 1,000 years old. 1,000 years ago, it probably would have fired very nicely. Yeah.
Now what to do? So is he? How is he responding to this?
He's in a bear hug from Mace Hunter.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Kofala, what are you doing during this little dust up over this firearm?
I'm just shaking my head.
Okay.
Not again.
Not again.
Yeah. This is probably very familiar terrain for us.
Yes. I'm going to try and uh, yeah. There's no really good actual general ability to try and like explain to him. No, trust us. We know what we're doing. We're professionals. Um,
I think that was ruined the moment I put the weapon in my mouth.
That's pretty much charm. Mace, that's definitely charm.
Yes. This is,
So-
but again, it's more of an investigative thing. Basically, I just yeah.
This is an investigation.
It's-
You guys are
yeah,
you guys are definitely in an investigation scene. You are
Yeah.
looking for clues and charming this guy to not interfere with chewing on the butt of a out of
Actually,
time.
yeah, I've got one that specifically says reassurance. I'm going
Look
to,
at that.
Yeah, I've got one that says specifically reassurance.
There you
And
go.
I'm even going to spend that point right now because my friend just put a gun in his mouth.
Burke makes science!
Okay, so let me ask you, since you're spending a point on spending that
Because
point,
I do have, yeah.
you want him
I-
to critically succeed at this, right?
Yes, I do want to
Okay.
critically succeed because I want the tour to continue, and I want to get as much information about the Medicis, where they are, and also I want to make sure the guy doesn't really think he needs to tell anybody what happened.
Right. So,
Yeah.
Mace,
Mhm.
spending your point of reassurance means that for some reason this guy really trusts you. Why?
Because I'm Mace Hunter and I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
It will
Okay.
all
Really good
turn out-
wine?
No. I mean, like that's the best way I can explain it.
Okay. You're
You're
Mace Hunter and you know what you're doing.
I'm
And
Mace Hunter and I know what I'm doing, and
Does-
my friends know what they're doing.
Does spending that
Yes.
point mean that you have retroactively established trust with this character?
Retroactively establish trust with this character.
Yeah, future you goes back in time to make friends with past Mario. You can do that. You just spent a point of investigation. You can totally do that.
Awesome.
Oh yes. A few wines in Renaissance Italy. I think that can be allowed in future times. Yes.
So what
you
you're
know,
saying,
when things calm down.
what you're saying is that all of a sudden Mario recognizes, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so very sorry. I did not recognize you. Those wines that you brought were just fantastic. The Medici. He wanted to express his deepest thanks. You've just established a timeline in which you are the chief sommelier for the De Medicis.
Mace Hunter would have no problem with that. This guy's going to need to laugh some more.
Okay, and I need to take a quick bio break, so we're going to take about 5 minutes here if anyone needs to run to the restroom or
Okey-dokey.
anything.
All right, probably right
All right.
behind you there. Yeah.
Awesome.
Welcome back.
Hello. Ready for more caveman shenanigans? Because that's how you test the authenticity of anything, right? You gnaw on it. Everyone
of
knows
course.
that.
I had fun researching this adventure. I have to say, TimeWatch is one of these. First of all, the book is fun to read. Okay, just if you haven't backed the Kickstarter, I highly recommend it. The book is, um, it's even just the beta book or the draft or whatever, but it is
The
well written.
Jurassic Edition.
Yeah, the Jurassic Edition. But it's a fun read. Like I was reading it all like 2 weeks ago, and every so often I would just like start giggling in the middle of reading this book, and I'm like, I'm reading this game book and it's so funny, and I would read passages out loud to my husband at breakfast. He just kind of has this glazed look over in his face, like, I can't believe I'm listening to somebody talk about time travel before I've had coffee. But like he even likes time travel movies too, so yeah, it's really entertaining. So
So you get
yeah.
to really take advantage of some historical fun then.
Yeah, well, I was a history minor, so this is like
Perfect.
this is right up my like Florence. It's 1348. I'm like I'm so there. This is in my wheelhouse. But as we go further back in time, I start to falter. So I actually had to do reading this week just to know what I was going to talk about. So it's a good. It's a little bit like.
Work
Have
is
you ever?
never done.
Yeah. Have you ever played? Has anyone ever played Chrononauts? It's a Looney Labs game. It's a card game. It's a card game about time travel, and they have a standard version which covers most of the 20th century. They have a early American version which covers, America, United States up until about the 1900s, and they have a Back to the Future edition, which uses the same mechanic but for the Back to the Future movies.
Nice.
And it's a really cute game, and in many ways, TimeWatch reminds me of almost like an RPG version of it, because there's linchpins that you turn in order to have time change, and you can fix time paradoxes by by playing the right cards. But in a way, what you're doing is your time traveler is going in there and saying, oh, we're fixing this paradox by having this thing happen that makes it so it's normal for for whatever to happen. So yeah, it's kind of cool, and it's a fun game, and it teaches a little bit of history, which I like. So yeah. Anyway, all right. So getting back to our game here. So you, Scott, you had just convinced Mario the guard that you are in fact the chief sommelier for the De Medici family.
Oh, wow.
With a habit of bringing over his eccentric friends,
Right.
And having a bottle of wine and looking at all of the beautiful artwork.
Right, and in fact, in Mario's mind, it makes perfect sense now why your friend would taste test, because you, of course, are a master at tasting. So yeah. So he's fully reassured now, and oh, okay.
Yes.
Shall I get you the one of the bottles from downstairs?
Oh, yes, and I will rattle off. Scott knows nothing about wine.
Yep, right.
But I will rattle off something that would be highly appropriate, given the era. Yes, a Chianti of some variety that would be, for Medici's to have had in there. Yeah.
He brings you up a
In the meantime, I'm going to try and get that gun from Urk, though.
Okay.
Do you think I can see that for a moment, Urk?
Hand it over to him.
Okay.
Now that I've done my part of the investment, you can do your science now.
Yes. The one thing I'm going to try and actually get from that gun is you'd said specifically that it was roughly from my era.
Mhm.
Does it have like if we're going to speak about alcohol, a maker's mark of some variety on it, a logo?
It does. It's extremely worn. But you still recognize the brand mainly by the styling and the manufacturer because early firearms were extremely distinct in terms of who made what. So cheap knockoffs, not so common. So yeah, you're able to identify it is indeed a Smith and Wesson and a good firearm for its day. Certainly. Uh-oh. I lost somebody. I lost Shugo. Ruh-roh. Okay, we're gonna assume he comes back in a minute.
Okay.
So yeah, you do recognize that it's a Smith and Wesson. It's American made. It's a high quality weapon. But they were manufactured in quantity enough that one wouldn't go missing, from the appropriate time period.
Thinking back to the painting in question, how many were depicted being used in that battle?
The painter had put in probably a dozen or so, but that's difficult to tell if that's an accurate representation of a battle that occurred 1,500 years before.
Okay, and now another classic mace hunter maneuver. Rifles in particular at the time typically had a strap to carry on the back. Is it still functional so that I could actually just strap it onto my back?
Completely rotted.
Completely rotted.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's the attachment where the strap would go. The strap is gone. Long gone.
Yeah, I'm probably sure I have a belt that would work well enough for that task. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just going to take my belt, put it where those hooks go, and hang it on my back like I own it.
Okay.
And this is going to be while, my friend's fetching the bottle of wine.
Okay.
And I'm going to,
Your friend is fetching the bottle of wine. You guys are not really being observed right now, but I'm going to point out that you have been interacting with this guy fairly directly, right? Which means that your impersonator mesh is kind of not going to work very well to hide something like that.
I'm not entirely sure. I think he's going to be. I mean, this is a very fine Smith and Wesson, very old, very valuable, and this is a man who likes his firearms, and it's all going to be non-existent at some point anyway. So I don't think he has a large problem thinking of it as theft so much as I'm just going to tote this around because I like it. There is a plan in my head of when we step out of time to repair it because it is a very valuable antique at this point.
Do you want to step out of time now? I mean, you'll miss out on the bottle of wine, but you wouldn't have that uncomfortable discussion of what exactly are you doing with that priceless antique.
Oh, I like where you're going with this. Yes,
miss out on a bottle of wine.
Yeah. Yes, as a matter of fact, I really like where you're going with this. And shame on Mace. Shame on him abusing time travel like that. But yes, as a matter of fact, I'm going to just sling it over my shoulder and proceed to pull out my little rod and say, "Back in a jiff." And head back to TimeWatch headquarters. Oh, I have all of time to play with. I'm sure I've met Smith and Wesson. I prefer Wesson more. Yes.
Scott, consider yourself to have received another stitch, by the way.
Okay. I'm probably going to need it in just a moment after all.
Probably.
But it's well worth it, yes.
Roll your chronal stability to
Okay.
time travel.
This is actually, I'm going to spend 3 on that. I'm just going to spend 3 right off the bat.
Okay. Keep in mind that if you fail this roll, you will only have to spend 2.
Ah, yes, you're right. 2. Okay, we'll go with 1. You've convinced him.
Okay.
You've convinced me. You're right, and he's already being reckless, isn't he?
Well, isn't that part of your personality?
Yes, it is. Yes, it absolutely is.
Quick question: if you spend 1 and still don't make it, does that mean you have lost 3?
Yes.
Oh, brutal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and
There
roll
we
it,
go.
Scott.
Oh, here
Great.
we go. Yep.
It's when you spend them that you don't need them, right?
The time master.
Absolutely.
And keep in mind, you can also always spend a stitch just to be able to do it without making the check.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So
Yeah.
so
I basically am going to have Wesson repair his own firearm.
okay.
Yeah.
So you just drop it off, or are you going to wait?
Oh, I'm gonna wait. Yeah.
You're gonna wait. Okay. It'll take.
I don't
it'll take
know. It's yeah.
It'll take a while, a few months.
Oh,
Yeah.
a while, a few months. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to buy another one while I'm waiting then. I'm going to have him repair that one. Because we've got to put something in that box, don't we?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Could you close the box
Yeah, but
and
I've
just
been
put it
there
away?
for a day already, so, because Wesson probably said, "Oh, Mace, good to see you."
Good to see you. Let's have a drink. You guys played some poker.
Yes,
You get another
exactly. Exactly. He'll get right on it after he's had a drink and caught up.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just going to say that this one is damaged, and I would like to have him repair it. And can I borrow one for now then? A similar model. Yes.
Yeah. So you do you want a working one?
I do. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
So he gives you a working gun, and you easily can buy it off of him, or you have credit or whatever. And did you want to come back to your friends in the 14th century now?
Yes, I'm going to come back to my friends in the 14th century now. Yes. Yes.
Okay. How much time do you allow to pass before you return?
Probably less than a second.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'm not entirely sure if you need to roll for the return trip, but why don't you do it anyway?
Okie dokie. All right. Yeah, we're going to spend another point on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, made it.
Perfect. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
So Mace just sort of flickers in and out, and you guys are pretty well versed in time travel, so you certainly recognize it when you see it. And when he comes back, the gun is much shinier and newer and not corroded with rust and age and damaged firing pins.
Without
Hey,
missing
that's
a beat.
caveman saliva for you, right?
There are no tooth marks on the butt of this.
Without missing a beat, I'm going to close that case and put it back where it belongs, but I'm not putting the gun on my shoulder over it. As he already knows that I have a replica of a pistol.
Right.
So yeah, all I have to do is convince him that this is not the gun he's looking for.
Well, you just put the gun away, right?
No, the gun's still
Just the
over my
box.
shoulder.
Oh, the
I'm
gun's
closing
still
the
out.
box, and the box is away, so that it looks like I just put the box back and nice and neat. Yeah.
Okay. So Mario returns with a tray with 4 glasses for some wine, and he pours you out, and it's a delightful Mongolian vintage.
Hmm. I will definitely explain that I very much enjoy a delightful Mongolian vintage.
It's from
Yes, it is
the Nice province of what is currently Western Mongolia.
Yes, are these oh gosh, basically just going to chat him up about how much he knows about the particular vintner, I guess.
Mario pretends to know more than he possibly could. He's
We've
a
already,
common
yeah.
guard, and
Yeah.
he is trying to impress his friend, the chief sommelier. But clearly he doesn't really know that much. But the rest
But
of you do know that Nice is, in fact, in the real timeline in France.
Yeah.
So
Apparently the Mongols have been all over the place.
right.
Yes. Yes.
This might be problematic. I'm just saying.
Indeed.
At least for people who are French, they might complain. I don't know. Okay, so so you guys have and he doesn't even notice that. I mean, he just notices that you put the box away. He doesn't even seem to care about.
That was
checking
kind
it.
of what was running through my head. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But it occurred to me. Yeah, it occurred to me that I liked that gun. Mace liked that gun. So what was I going to do?
Well, and it's obviously not the same gun.
Yes, it's obviously not. So we're going to, as far as Mace is concerned, he's going to finish the wine and the chat with his nice friend, and start hinting that he's hasn't been in the area for a while, and where are the ladies hanging out these days?
Okay, so Mario kind of chats you up about where to find companions and friends and so forth. And at this point, I do have to ask, how bored are Kafala and Uruk?
I'm actually bored, yeah.
So is it time for our time travelers to find some other time and place to battle?
More rifles to chew on? Sure.
Yes. That was the implication was I'm going to go find female companionship, so my friends and I are going to leave.
Okay. All right. So you
Yes.
take your leave of Mario, and the three of you, it's easy for you to just discreetly turn a corner and then walk through time. So where and when are you going next? Is what I want to know.
Well, actually, Mace doesn't have a plan. Who am I kidding? If he's trying to walk out the door. He wants to talk with his friends and see what they're up to.
Okay.
So if you guys start going elsewhere, you better speak up, because he's just going to walk out the front door and
Well, didn't we determine that that this particular weapon? You said something about 1,000 years, and you also said something about 200 or 300. So I got a little confused with that. I'm not sure what that was specifically about.
Okay, so about 200 years ago, the Mongols conquered most of Europe. About 1,500 years ago, the Carthaginians conquered most of southern Italy, and they still hold that area today, including Rome.
Okay.
None of this jives with true history, in which the Roman Empire defeated the Carthaginians and then proceeded to use their military might to expand outward into the Roman Empire. So,
I'd say we should go. I'd say we should go 1,000 years back because possibly the previous event triggered the next one. So if we go to the first event, that might be a better idea.
Kind of go root cause. I like it.
okay.
Yeah, Mesa's going to check and make sure that the rifle's functioning well, because it looks like he's hunting triceratops as far as he's concerned. So yeah, it's okay, gentlemen. I suppose.
Okay.
Okay.
So, to give you guys a timeline, in 215 BCE, Hannibal conquered Rome. In 216, a year earlier, BCE, that was the Battle of Cannae, which was a decisive battle for the Carthaginians against the Romans. That does track with true history.
Mm-hmm.
A couple years before that, Hannibal crossed the Alps with an army into Italy, and that began his tromp through Italy, where he, defeated people and eventually met the Romans at Cannae. Of those three time periods, which appeals to you most?
Actually, I want to see the dinosaurs crossing the Alps.
The Alps. Okay.
Yes.
It is certainly the earliest.
First, it is the earliest.
Yeah.
And second, it is a very decisive battle, and that was dinosaurs. So we need to find out where the dinosaurs came from next.
Right. You could also go even earlier than that if you wanted to, explore the First Punic War or the lead up to this time period.
Dinosaurs and one of the greatest generals of all time. I'm going to miss this.
Okay.
Yeah, Mace is not actually going to, he's not going. Actually, that would definitely not be a Mace specialty anyway. To think of going further back, as he's trying to. As far as I can tell, he's just piecing it together one piece at a time. Okay, I've got the gun. Somebody brought a gun, but we're still concerned about the dinosaurs in the wrong place.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
We know they're there.
Okay. So you guys are jumping basically to the Alps at somewhere in the period between 218 and 216 BCE. Okay.
Okay.
Sound good? All right.
Yeah.
So everyone, roll your chronal stability time travel check, or spend your stitch to make the jump.
Yes, Stitch spent. Stitch spent. My luck's been really good. Stitch spent.
I'm going to take a chance and not spend anything.
Okay.
Oh, okay. 5.
All right. So Urk, I guess, lost a couple of points there, but you're pretty stable in time anyway, so you have a good chronal stability. All right. Okay, so you guys arrive, and you see that it takes you a little bit of time to figure out where his army is, because one of the great mysteries of history in general is where Hannibal's troops actually crossed the Alps. There's actually, this is something that is not known in the real timeline or this parallel timeline. So but it takes you a little time to figure it out, but you're time agents. You have nothing but time. And you're actually on an outcropping over what you are pretty sure is one of the passes that his army is going to take. And you see that they are heading into the pass, and you can actually, you've been sort of keeping track of his forces as you've been following them through their journey. He he is his army is a little depleted. There's obviously been they've lost some forces. They've lost quite a few elephants on this journey, and they head into the pass. They're maybe half a mile off or so, and you know there's kind of a rise between you and and where they are, and when they emerge just a few moments later, they have triceratops with them, about a unit full, of maybe 2 dozen. And definitely, those are rifles. Those are definitely rifles. And what you notice is that the men who are carrying them by the barrel, hanging over their shoulder, like they have never held a gun in their lives.
Freely going to pass that information on to the rest of my team who might not be as aware of such a thing. Well,
No,
let's just go see what
I think the
all
rest
this
of your team
about
is
then.
familiar with firearms. I'm looking at them. Kafal has a better shot than well, it's the same as Mesa anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah.
Can we see Hannibal anywhere?
You do see the general. You guys have identified him from your past scouting, and he's riding a horse. He's not on elephant back, and he never was historically. But he's definitely directing the troop movements, and he seems smug. Going into this pass, he seemed a little worried. Coming out, he seems smug. Also better fed.
Oh dear. Then we're not actually going to intercept Hannibal. Exactly. I think I want to see that pass.
Okay. Do you guys wait for the army to finish passing through?
Quite possibly.
That seems wise.
I mean, even though they seem inexperienced, a stray shot could still hit us. So
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. So you wait for them to finish their pass, and then you go into that area and start investigating. And what are you going to do to search around this area?
Tracks, first of all. If they're
Tracks?
time traveling. Yes.
Okay.
If there was some variety of time travel involved. I mean, he looked completely different going in and coming out.
He looked like the same man, just better fed.
Well, yes,
Better
he
rested.
was worried and better rested but he was worried first. Yeah. So yeah.
Urk, so you're pretty good with outdoor survival and tracking and so forth, and Mace is as well. But this is certainly your wheelhouse. And so as you're investigating,
Tri-horns are involved.
yeah, no kidding. Well, for one thing, the Trihorn's tracks start midway through the pass.
Interesting.
They didn't go in. They only came out. So there's definitely something happened there. And the other thing is that overall, the tracks of the army are all a little deeper, meaning a little better fed, a little better provisioned.
So, obviously, something the size of triceratops coming out, and there must have been some large chrono something that happened here Does that leave any sort of residue or anything like that that's traceable by our tools, or is that
Yeah.
just...
Yeah, you guys can easily use your tether and autochron to kind of do a little scouting around. And of course, with your TimeWatch, your Timecraft skill, which everybody has, because otherwise this would be an impossible game if you being thrown around through time with no way to control it.
I don't know. Mace seems to be doing fine. That's all I'm saying.
But you can detect a signature of what amounts to a time portal that may have been opened up somewhere along this pass. Yeah.
Probably a trickier thing is not just a portal, but a rough estimation of where the portal is coming from, or when the portal is coming from.
Okay. Stephanie's going to need to check really quick because I can't remember when triceratops are from.
You could just say triceratops times.
True, but let's go with the late Maastrichtian stage of the late Cretaceous period.
Interesting. Interesting.
So obviously, Urk, before your time.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, one of the first things that you did in your TimeWatch training was go further back in time to hunt these massive beasts and prove your mettle.
That sounds very Urk. Yeah, I can see it. Not like I didn't get enough of it during the... Yeah.
You're like, I have defeated the woolly mammoth. I must now go for bigger game.
Particularly
yeah.
running with our hunter friend here, I could definitely see it.
Yes, I'm sure we both did, as a matter of fact. Yes.
So that's from the it seems to go into the late, or come from the late Cretaceous period.
Okay, so there were apparently all of the guns and the dinosaurs were loaded onto them in late Cretaceous, and well, let's just go see if there's somebody there.
Oh, awesome.
That's a pretty big time period to deal with. I mean, are we capable of narrowing it down, or I guess I'm just not sure mechanically if we have that capability.
Well, the trail is certainly going a little bit cold, but you could I would say that it's a chronal stability check. It'll be more difficult than usual when you do the time travel, or you could pick a time period that you are certain is later than when this portal would open up.
How much later, roughly speaking?
We'll say within 1,000 years.
Within 1,000 years.
You guys are expert hunters. I'm sure you could find some evidence.
I don't know. I'd say go big. Go for the challenging role. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, you're talking to Mace Hunter. Yes.
Okay. So normally your target number is 4. I'm going to set the target number at 5 for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all going to go?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rock on.
Yes.
This seems like it might be a good spot to use a stitch on. I don't know. I think I'm going to use mine.
All right.
There's a penalty for not having any.
There's no penalty for not having any, and that's fine with me. I don't have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Anyone else going to use their stitch?
I'm going to follow Urk. Isn't that easier than worrying about my own?
Yeah, in this case, because I made it a higher difficulty. No.
Oh well then. Yeah.
You have an extra stitch, don't forget.
I do have. Well, no, because I just spent one.
Oh, did you? Oh, right. So you have one.
Yes. Yeah. Um, and I spent one on my own personal amusement, which seems to be a Mace thing. So this actual hunt. Oh no. You know what? Yeah. He's. Yeah. I'll spend the other stitch. I'll
Okay.
get another one. I'm Mace Hunter.
Shugo?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna spend my stitch as well.
Okay. All right, so everybody's out of stitches, and do feel free to remind me when you think that somebody has earned one, because I should be handing them out a lot more freely than I have been. I just,
Then,
I'm actually
then
kind of
I'm going to practice time travel and say eating the gun. Brilliant.
I kind of agree. So yeah, Sean, you can have your stitch back, or you can have an extra stitch or whatever. So
Fantastic.
yeah. Okay, so you all spent your stitch, remaining stitches, and you travel back to a time period. Okay. Given we're talking about 65,000 or 65 million years BCE. And it's, say, 1:30 in the afternoon. Do you want to show up closer to noon, or do you want to show up closer to 2?
High noon.
Okay. So you want to get there before whatever happens.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And
All right.
yeah.
So
Preferably not exactly in that spot, because there was
Okay.
probably preparation involved in whatever just happened.
So you arrive a few hours before Hannibal's army arrives, and what you see is a picket line of triceratops, just strung out along the pass. Excuse me, and the geography looks a little different because 65 million years. The continent has actually shifted, but you're definitely I mean, Urk, you recognize one of the triceratops from the line that came out of the pass. He's got the same scar on his side, so clearly these are the same animals.
Do they have any bridles or whatever they were using to ride them before? Or
Yeah, it's a picket line, so they're all bridled. They all have some means of control. They don't seem to be particularly tame.
You can't tame Trihorn.
Trihorn tame you.
Yeah. But they're also herbivores, so they do tend to be a little bit less aggressive, so to speak. I mean, for a dinosaur.
Sure, it's all relative.
Yeah.
I'll point out the scar at least to my comrades.
Okay. So yeah, it's really clear that these are the same. These are the same animals, and you see that there's one guy who seems to be attending to them, and he's like checking their ropes, and every so often he'll like pat one on the nose, and move on to the next one, and so forth.
Just one guy?
Just one guy.
What kind of attire is he wearing?
He appears to be dressed like a Carthaginian soldier.
Interesting.
Indeed. Yes.
I think we should confront him, ask him what's.
Okay. So, Kafala, how are you gonna do that?
Let's see. I could try charming him again because he's on his own, so he's probably lonely at the moment.
Could be.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for that.
Unless
Okay.
it's just a disguise.
Would you
Yeah.
believe? Yeah, because Mace at this point is actually thinking, like, to wait and step back in the shadows and observe.
Okay, but
Yeah, I
I
think
like
What I'm doing,
Kefala's plan.
yes.
It's much more reckless.
Oh yeah, yeah. Kelfala, he's gonna let Kelfala do what,
Okay.
Kelfala
So,
Yeah.
does.
Kefala, you approach in a sort of disarming way, I assume, right? You know, you're
Yeah.
not aggressive or anything. You're just kind of like, hail and well met kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay. So you start walking up to him, and the fellow looks up at you, and you see he's a man of Chinese descent. He's got long hair. He looks up at you. He makes eye contact with you for one quick second, and then he runs
Oh.
as fast as he can.
That'll probably trigger my pursuit routines, as it were.
You think?
Yeah.
Yes.
The hunt is
Well,
on.
can I'm actually gonna use my preparedness
Okay.
special booster
Okay.
to set myself ahead in time and trip him off.
Okay. All right. So this is gonna be another chase sequence, and which I totally didn't expect. That's kind of awesome. I really didn't expect you guys to go back to Cretaceous period either. So that's really neat. um, so you start chasing after him, and go ahead and I'm gonna put Kefala in the lead in this particular segment of the chase. So go ahead and you're gonna roll your preparedness to try to basically get a jump ahead of him.
Okay.
And you can spend points on it if you wish.
Okay. I think I'll just try without spending points first.
Okay.
Actually, I have a lot of points, so I might as well.
Yeah.
I'll spend 2 points.
Okay.
Roll. Oh, that's.
Guess you needed them.
Yeah.
Okay. So the two of you actually tie on that chase sequence, which, hold on, let's see, when you both succeed, okay, ties go to the runner. So, the lead, which is currently kind of a lead of two, you're 2 zones away. The lead changes. He actually he kind of you tried to use your preparedness and kind of buff. I feel like you could retroactively do that, but basically because I'm going to say because your preparedness is booster ready that it's going to be a flat tie. So basically, the two of you are you're taking off after him. It's a chase. You tried to prepare to like bounce ahead of him, but he seems to have anticipated your preparation or something, and he actually leaps through time just before your preparation arrives. And we'll say your preparation was how about a rock fall? To cut him off?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So he leaps through time, and you guys can take a leap as well. And I'm gonna give Shugo, you get a stitch for that, and Scott, I can't remember. You said something that had me just giggling my ass off. Sorry. So did I give you a stitch for that? In the previous scene? Okay, well, I'll take one. So everyone's got a stitch.
Okay. All right, we've all got a stitch.
Everyone's got a stitch, and you guys are leaping through time after this traveler who is apparently maybe not a Carthaginian soldier.
Maybe, just maybe, yes.
So,
on the other hand, I believe the lead has to still take charge of the
Right, but you guys can. Oh, let me set the scene for where you end up as he
Okay.
leaps through time.
All right.
So you are. Oh, I like this. I like this a lot. He leaps through time and space, quite a bit of space, in fact. And you arrive just as you see a lunar rover cruising along on its way towards, I don't know, Mare something or other. Fortunately for you guys, there's the second lunar rover right there.
Do we need to roll for our chronal stability from
You
that
do.
last jump?
You do.
I'm gonna go big. And
So does he.
Yes, success.
Yes. Let's see here. Yeah, just going to roll blind, because
Because why not?
woohoo. Yeah, because mace. So there we go.
Oh, Shugo, you're on mute.
Oh, I'm gonna spend 1 point just in case.
Just in case? Okay.
Oh, I didn't need it, but
That's okay. All right. You guys make the jump pretty easily, and you're pursuing across a lunar landscape, or are you? How are you guys going to handle this?
Actually, he just took off in a lunar rover, right?
Uh-huh.
And what was the lead again?
The lead. Oh, he is basically 2 jumps ahead, two zones of distance away.
Okay. All right. So, oh, no atmosphere.
yeah, well,
Are we
I was
going
just
to
gonna
suffocate?
ask, but
Oh no, wait. Our suits cover that. Never mind. They actually do.
TimeWatch uniform, chronomorphic
Yeah,
armor
TimeWatch
1.
uniform. Yeah, TimeWatch uniform covers that pretty distinctly, in fact.
I think we know someone who's skilled with vehicles. I don't know. It's probably not
yeah,
me.
so I was gonna ask if I could somehow boost the fuel in of the vehicle so that we can go faster than is actually possible.
I just put my
At the
feet through
expense
the
of
floor.
I definitely think you could. In fact, I would say that if you wanted to, you could use preparedness to make sure that when the lunar rovers were abandoned, there was plenty of fuel left behind.
and maybe empty the other fuel out, perhaps.
Ooh! You get a stitch? Roll it.
Come on, preparedness. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm gonna spend two of my preparedness just to be sure.
All right.
And roll.
Very nice.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Okay. So you are definitely helping yourself and hindering him for sure. So do you want to roll your vehicles for your chase? And I'm just going to give you an extra +1 on this roll for your preparedness.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do another +1 with
Okay.
my vehicle skill. So. Oh, okay.
All right. And let me roll mine. This is my getaway. Okay. So I definitely he's definitely getting away. So he's bumping over the lunar landscape, but you can see that the rover that he's in starts slowing down, and you're starting to catch up. So he actually tumbles out, starts taking off on foot, and then makes another time leap.
That
And
devil.
we follow. Yeah. So this would be
another chronal stability.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dun,
And
dun.
yeah,
Oh,
going to do
5,
another
yeah.
reckless one here. No bonus. Hey.
Okay. All right. How'd you guys do?
5.
You all made it. You're great. Okay. So this time, as you were, you are on foot, racing through 1945 Berlin, which is a wonderful place for TimeWatch because there are so many attempts to undo Hitler that TimeWatch just keeps a safe house where agents do their training missions, stopping other time travelers. So yeah, you are running through 1945 Berlin, and you see that your time traveler is basically he doesn't fit in. This is not where he was planning to be, and you see that he starts kind of grabbing cloaks and clothes to kind of disguise himself as he's running through streets before he ducks into what can only be described as a ghetto in the World War II Jewish sense of the term. What are you guys gonna do?
Actually, I've got a rifle with me. And
Uh-huh.
I believe, yes. We're going to attempt a warning shot first.
Okay.
Basically, you said he's running along and, just like off of strangers, just snatch a cloak here, snatch a hat here. Yeah. Basically, he reaches for a hat and it is shot out of his hand.
Okay. All right.
This is what I'm attempting.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, you're a pretty good shot, so I think you can definitely attempt it. Before we proceed, though, I'm going to ask who will be the lead on the actual foot chase. I think Urk would be a really good choice.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Notice I stayed back right to begin with.
Yes.
Yeah, Urk's a good choice. Yes.
Okay. So we'll say that Urk is keeping up, or trying to keep up, or trying to catch up with our fleeing time bandit. So, Mace Hunter, roll your shooting to try to scare this time traveler.
And I'm actually going to spend 3.
You really want to succeed?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to spend 3 on this.
Alrighty.
Well, it is also a trick shot near heads.
Yes, it is.
Intended as a warning. So...
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
Okay. There we go.
Very nice. Yeah, so where did you want that hat to go?
Are there pursuing soldiers by chance anywhere?
Right now, people around you think you are the pursuing soldiers.
Yeah, interesting point. Yeah. Just away from other people, then.
Okay.
Is
all right.
Yeah.
So
basically, trying the hat so that he has to pause and change his direction, thinking that he's
Okay.
Don't want him to run into a blind alley.
Got it. All right. So you trick shot the hat out of his hand, so he's unable to really dive into crowds quite so effectively. I mean, people can definitely see him coming. There's been shots fired, and a big thuggish Gestapo guard is chasing after this guy. That would be Urk. So, Urk, go ahead and roll your athletics on your pursuit here.
So yeah, I'm gonna go big and burn 3.
Alrighty.
Because I really want to catch this guy.
All right.
So 7 total.
Okay. So you start closing the distance. So it goes from close range to I can't remember what's the next. Attacking during chases. The lead. Okay, so it goes from close to near. So you're one step closer.
Cool.
As you guys, as he leaps through time. again. And and let's see, where's he going next? Shugo, where should he go next?
Where should who go next?
Our fleeing time
Oak?
bandit.
Oh, um,
Where's a good place in time?
mm, I don't know anywhere.
Okay.
Probably the future because that's where people know us.
Okay. So he leaps into the future. In fact, he leaps into, let's say, 23rd century Beijing.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's crowded. It's busy. The streets are congested with bicycles, which, just as you guys leap after him, and go ahead and roll your chronal stability, and I will roll mine.
Spending a point this time.
Okay.
I've jumped a lot lately, so yeah, it didn't even make it with the point. So I just lost 3. Yeah.
Do I need to say whether I'm using a stitch before or after I roll?
If you use a stitch, just use it, and then and then you don't have to roll.
Okay, I'll use a stitch then.
Okay. And Mace, you failed?
I failed, yes. So I believe I should be down to 1 at this point for chronal stability.
You are indeed.
Yes.
Just so you know, one of your allies with Reality Anchor would be able to use Reality Anchor to help you heal that. They basically remind you of who you are. But mid-chase isn't the place to do it, necessarily.
No.
Not the ideal moment.
No.
So you see as you come running out that
How native am I going at this point, though? That's an interesting question.
You're not. You won't until you're below 0. Well below 0.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just eventually you're going to start having difficulty hanging on to time. Yeah. So you see that the time traveler, your time bandit fellow, has grabbed a bicycle and is taking off as fast as he can pedal. Now, what's interesting is that a bicycle can either be athletics or vehicles, depending on who wants to be lead and who wants to be pursuing, and what you guys want to do at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. I've still got my rifle out anyway, and that I'm going to fire the tires.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mace Hunter will be doing another trick shot.
Mhm.
And what else are you guys going to do?
Then I'm going to hop on a bicycle, and I have much better athletics than I do vehicles. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm pretty
so
athletic as well.
We'll give you you'll be a round behind. Urk, what are you gonna do? Hop on a bike?
Yeah, it's probably faster than my regular feet pace. Sure.
Okay. And Kalfala?
I'm also going to go on the bike and use athletics instead of vehicle because just saving vehicle for when there's something I can't use. Athletics
Okay.
for.
Sounds good. All right. So and you guys, Urk and Kalfala, you guys are just gonna pursue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Who would like to be in the lead on that?
Yeah. I'm again hanging back to make the shot first, so I'm not the lead. Yeah.
I don't mind taking lead again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Mace, why don't you make your shot?
Okay. Yeah. I'm only going to spend 1 this time. So
Okay.
Shooting. So. Oh, there we go.
Okay. And Urk, go ahead and roll your athletics as you weave in and out of traffic to dash after him.
I'm gonna burn 2 more, taking me all the way down to 2, but seems important.
On athletics? Did you burn some earlier? Because
Yeah.
Okay.
I went down to 7 and 4, and now I'm burning one more.
Okay.
Or 2 more, I should say.
All right.
And that'll be a 6.
Okay. All right. And with the tire blown out, Jian Ma is his vehicle is hobbled, and you speed up to him, the two of you, Urk and Kalfala. You basically surround him, and he can't go any further. He might be able to jump away, but you basically have him within, you're in what is called
Clubbing range.
yeah, clubbing range, shall we say. So it's not a good idea for him to try to time jump where he is. He'd be taking you with him anyway. So he stops and throws his hands up, and okay.
Okay.
What do you
I
want?
think the first thing I'm gonna do is take the autochron off him.
Okay.
And then,
You don't say.
If they
And
caught up while I was making the shot, I'm going to stay there with the rifle out pointed.
Okay. Are you gonna
let me
catch
say,
up?
Perhaps at a slow walking pace, yes.
Okay. All right. So you'll catch up in a round or two. All right. Yeah, Kafala.
yeah. Where did you get this?
I've
I
always
point to
had
the
it.
autochron. Who are you?
I'm Jingma, protector of the timeline.
Are you part of TimeWatch?
TimeWatch. No. I'm a member of the consortium of the time stability, and he starts rattling off some incredibly long sounding name, which is actually like 5 syllables in Chinese.
Oh, okay. I think we got the wrong guy. I turned to Urk and I'm like, I think we got the wrong guy.
With your timecraft knowledge, this guy's a time traveler, and
That guy at the exact spot where we were looking for troublemakers, I think
Yeah.
he's the guy.
Yep. And you know for a fact that there are parallel timelines and time travelers who go back in time to ensure that their timeline is the one that survives.
Oh, okay.
In fact, the intelligent talking dinosaurs are pretty much from a parallel timeline.
Okay, so I don't know where we go from here.
Well, I'm definitely going to be glaring menacingly with a look of threat in my eyes at this guy. We need to get him to speak plainly. So, I mean, I can try to intimidate him, but I'm not exactly the world's best conversationalist.
Perhaps you could make sure our friend doesn't try any more tricks, and perhaps we can all go to another, shall we say, another place and discuss matters.
I'll grab him roughly by his arm then.
Okay. Where are you guys going to take him?
I'm voting TimeWatch headquarters.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Works for me.
Okay, you guys take him back to TimeWatch headquarters, where this is actually you can, you guys can pretty much succeed here at stopping the alternate timeline, because having arrested Jean Ma before he gives. Or before he brings Hannibal through time to give him the triceratops and the guns, you have returned history to its normal timeline.
Hooray!
Yay!
Now,
Then there's
The
a
sim-
matter of
the simple
yeah.
fact that the Mongols still managed to conquer most of Western Europe, well, at least the Carthaginians weren't there. But that's an adventure for another day.
So, what happens, or is there any effect when this whole timeline collapses, this parallel timeline?
Well, so what happens is basically what you've done is you have fixed the timeline. So
Okay.
that well, you've fixed part of the timeline. So that part where the Carthaginians had conquered southern Italy no longer happened. So the Roman Empire did in fact expand, and there is a history of empire in Western Europe. There are the roads, the aqueducts, all that infrastructure still exists. So when the Mongols do come, there's a different response from Western Europe. Now, the fact that the Mongols still conquer part of Western Europe, like I said, that's a story for the next day. So, but yeah, congratulations, you captured the time criminal. Yeah, so this adventure basically it started with that throwaway description, and then I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I said I was going to have Hannibal riding a triceratops because I know nothing about the Second Punic War. But then I did my history research. I was like, well, what happens if that happened, and what's the result, and who would want that result to happen? And one of the potential results is that there's no Roman Empire. And if there's no Roman Empire 1,000 years later when the Mongols are at the gates of, Western Europe, a small push would make them go forward. So, voila.
Seems like it would take a lot of prep work to really do this up like this. And
Aside
I
from
know
reading...
my players would totally screw me up on that somehow.
Oh! Believe me, I didn't expect the Cretaceous period.
I think that's one of the advantages of doing this over Hangouts or an online medium. Like you have Wikipedia.
That's true.
Just,
And yeah, and in the book, Kevin even specifically says, have a laptop handy, have a tablet,
Oh, yeah,
so you
yeah,
can
yeah.
look stuff up. Absolutely, yeah. What did you
Was
guys
there
think?
a sidebar that said if you're a history major as well, that's good?
Yes, well, that's certainly mentioned as being beneficial. Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of resources, but I would say I probably spent a total of maybe 3 or 4 hours on the history prep for this. And that was mostly because I was enjoying myself.
Yes, it seems that the rules are very loose. Actually,
They're
it
quite
was-
flexible, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the investigation rules. It's like, yeah, if they can do it, they do it. Figure out how. I like that. So, as far as being a mystery story, what did you guys think of it being, investigative and so forth? This is my first time running a gumshoe adventure, in addition to my first time running TimeWatch.
Double whammy, nice. No, it definitely had a nice investigative feel to it. I liked it.
Good.
The last one, Gumshoe, I had played was the Call of Cthulhu and Trail, and it seemed like we did a lot more action and rolls in this than that, which kind of cool in a way, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, it was a short adventure. It was not a continuing saga, but I did like. There was a mystery element to it, especially considering I'm not a history major. So I had to figure things out along with my character, who probably had more knowledge to begin with. So being able to say, no, I have that knowledge is useful.
Hmm.
And it was, and we surprised you as well,
Yes.
which was excellent. One of the things you said earlier was it's how we use the information then. And
That makes the story. Yeah.
yeah. So we
Cool.
were able to get the information, and then we used it, and it turned out well. So I like any mystery I actually managed to solve.
Cool. Shogu, do you have any feedback?
Well, I'm a relatively new player to RPG, and it was very easy to follow. And I mean, I'm not sure how it would play out if you were creating a character, but if as a new player you were given a character, I think it was very easy to get started and have fun.
Good. I think one of the things about this particular system is that when you do character creation, you should do character creation as a group, so that you can make sure that everybody has, overlapping, the skills are meshed together well, and so you can also basically build yourselves as a team. And I think that's an important part of the character creation. And so if you were playing an ongoing campaign, you would want, like with many crunchier systems, you would want that first session to be character creation, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And one thing I would recommend to people is, they're not kidding, is throw these points away. Just use them when you want to use them. I still have enough to survive and be creative with. They really are there to be. I was being just a tiny bit sparing, and
I think I was
I
too.
didn't need to. Yeah, I didn't need to be as sparing as I was. So.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a certain element of over the top that you can go with this, and I didn't even give out as many stitches as I should have. So we could have definitely been a lot more pulpy, a lot more over the top action. Absolutely, yeah.
I think I could really dig a pulp flavor of this. I could totally see that.
But it was very streamlined. It was very simple. I really liked just being able to roll a die 6, and it's 50-50 right from the start. That it's okay. So I start with a 50-50,
and it can really only go up from there.
Yes. It allows. I'm very into story anyway, so it allowed me. I really enjoyed to be able to just like move ahead with the story and say I do something cool.
Yeah.
So yeah. But play with time more. I'm glad that you encouraged us to do that, because it was not something that was occurring to me at the very least. But
right, yeah. The point where you're like, oh well, I'm just gonna swap the gun or take the gun or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, It's like I want to reassure him. Okay, well, let's reassure him. Let's really reassure him.
No, I've been here 100 times.
Right. You come by every
and I've
week.
always been this weird. Yes.
Right. Yeah, like being able to play with time that way is something that is the unique strength of this system that I think.
Yeah,
but it probably takes a little adapting to get used to.
I think it does. I think it really does. Yeah. So I know that Kevin is either watching or is going to watch it later. Do you guys have any feedback for the author?
I jumped on board Kickstarter right at the beginning. I was looking forward to it. I'd been following it for a while. I'm even more eager now.
Yeah. He has my money already. He has my money already. And you've already earned my money, so yeah, earn more of it. No, I don't have any. Never mind. Earn more of somebody else's money. We want it to be even better, but it's very good right now.
Yeah.
Immediate feedback I don't really have.
Okay.
But yeah.
I just want to say good luck with your project. I think it was a really fun time, and I look forward to playing more in the future, maybe. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for playing, and thanks to all of our viewers who may or may not have tuned in for our hangout on air. This will be saved on YouTube, and I'll post the link on the hangout link on ConTessa, as well as in my own Google Plus. So thank you again for playing and for your feedback. And if you have any further thoughts, just like either send them to me or put them on the hangout. I'm sure that Kevin will be watching it. I'll be watching it, and I just so that everybody understands, my disclaimer is that I have no financial interest in this project at all. I'm a Kickstarter backer as well. I saw the book, I read the book, and I immediately said, "Oh, wow, I should really run that. I really want to run that." And then ConTessa was coming up, and so I volunteered to run it at this convention. So
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for running it. Had a good time.
you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
I had a lot of fun running it, so I really appreciate you guys being here. I thank you for your time, and just the creativity was fantastic. So thank you guys. Have a great evening. We're going to end a little early, but I think that's just fine. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to stop broadcasting now.